Hello and welcome back to another episode of Diablo to D&D. My name is David, and today we're doing a Let's Create, where I am creating a new ability. As usual, starting off with our campaign update, my players just finished the maggot layer, and they have made their way into the Claw Viper Temple for the amulet that completes the Herodic Staff. I'm actually testing something out a bit. I've done it a little bit before, but now I've standardized it. So I am doing procedurally generated dungeons. So right here in the DM notes, I have a new table that I built, just dungeon hallways, and I'd like to get some feedback on this. So I have a straight path, an elbow, a T, and a cross. All of those have the equal likelihood of two numbers on a D12. A dead end is 9 through 11, so 3 numbers, and the exit is a 12. The reasoning for that is because, it gives a little bit of variety and kind of some exploration, rather than just having a set thing that you run through. I mean, granted, it's a tool. You can use it before you even go into the session and just have a map there for you. But, I don't know. I thought it would be something interesting to run. They've not gotten too terribly far into the temple. They had one encounter, and I am very proud of the Claw Viper stat block that I created. I based it off of the UNT Malazon, as well as Malazon, however you pronounce that, as well as the Claw Viper stat block in the To Hell and Back book, the module that I'm running them through. And I really like them. They've got this nice charge attack. They can shove as a bonus action if they charge, kind of the way that they do in the actual game, as well as dealing a little bit of cold damage on a hit if they've charged as well. But other than that, there was not much else that happened. No incredible story beats. Nothing changing, so let's move on to the changelog. Alright, short log today. The Barbarian taunt no longer gives you compelled duel, as it is not in the SRD. That was one of the biggest problems for me, was trying to figure out how do I word this. So I originally had Compelled Duel as a spell that you could cast. Charisma as your spellcasting ability modifier. But since it's since it's in the player's handbook, not the SRD, I can't use it. So I created an entirely new ability that does pretty much the same thing. The Druid's Armageddon is now a cylinder. I took a look at it as I was going over going over the classes, trying to figure out which ability to do today. And I realized it said within 20 feet of you. I was like, wait, these things are falling from the sky. I might as well make it a little bit bigger. Granted, rocks fall from the sky, and it's like a 40-foot high cylinder. So, But yeah, it follows you around and works very similarly to the way that it works in Diablo 2. Also, the Barbarian, the Grim Ward now triggers if a hostile creature starts its turn within the area. So the way that it was originally worded is that the creature has to start hostile outside of its area and then moves in. Now, if it's like, the Traveler comes across you and during your camping time, and you wake up and you have a conversation, and then they turn hostile, then it can work against them, or it can work in that scenario. So they start non-hostile, and then they move to hostilities, then it would work in that scenario. So that's over. Now let's get on to the ability that I'm working on. So my players are approaching the end of the Herodic Staff quest, and that means that they're going to be leveling up. Now, the new player is playing a sorceress, specifically a fire sorceress, and you'll see at level 6, that's a subclass feature. Well, if you'll remember, I don't have a sorceress ability at level 6, or a fire sorceress ability at level 6. So that's what we're going to be working on today, Inferno. So the way that Inferno works is you stand in one place and you channel an ability. It's a line that deals fire damage. It has one special quality that as you put more points into it, it actually gets longer. So there is a measure of scaling as it goes up. I mean, the damage scales as well, of course, but it gets longer as you put more points into it, as you get more powerful. So I don't know if I want to include that scaling or if I should just leave it as just, a 30-foot line or whatever. But let's take a look at the way that the Diablerie says it. All right, Inferno says it has a range of 20 feet. Effect is a 5-foot wide arc from your hands. Duration instantaneous. Saving throw reflex is half. Spell resistance, yes. A short burst of fire sprays from your fingertips in a 20-foot long, 5-foot wide arc. It deals 1d6 plus 1 points of fire damage per caster level to each creature in the area of effect. Maximum damage, 10d6 plus 10. A reflex save is allowed for half damage. This gives us a great place to start. We know that it's, of course, going to be fire damage. They say it is a 20-foot long, 20-foot line. So let's see. Let's throw on some flavor first. All right, there we go. And thank you much for watching. No, okay. So let's start looking at this. So this is supposed to be a mainstay of what you can do. Kind of just it's a basic attack. But do I want it to be different? Well, I think the first thing to note is in the Diablerie, it's a spell. So there is a resource attached to that. So that means that the 1d6 plus 1 fire damage per sorceress level is kind of not capped, but there is an actual cost associated with it. You burn a spell slot, you get a ton of damage. But it's a one and done thing. Whereas the original one in Diablo 2 is a channeled ability. So channeling means that you sit and you wait and you keep doing something for as long as you are essentially focusing or keeping the ability active. That screams to me concentration. So let's take a look at concentration here in the sorceress. There are no concentrations. Well, okay, I mean there's the thunderstorm, but there's nothing in the base class that says concentration. Okay. Yeah, let's see. Magic weapon, you don't need to concentrate on the spell. Okay, cool. And then the other one is just the thunderstorm from the lightning sorceress. Okay, so we don't have any concentration at all for the sorceress. Oh, wait, hang on a second. No, there are certain spells that are concentration, aren't there? Mage armor is not. Telekinesis, mage hand is not. Magic weapon doesn't give you that. Shiver armor, teleport. Blaze? No, blaze is specifically not concentration. Insight, energy shield. Okay, no, never mind. Wall of fire. Wall of fire is concentration. That is concentration, isn't it? Okay, so do I want to have an intermediate spell between Firebolt and Firewall? Well, let's look at spells that could be inspiration for this. Starting off with Sunbeam. This is one of the first ones that I thought of, and as far as I can tell, one of the very few that is very similar to this. A beam of brilliant light flashes out from your hand in a 5-foot wide, 60-foot long line. It is a 6th level spell, so keep that in mind. Each creature in the line must make a Constitution saving throw. A failed save takes damage and is blinded. Success, yada yada yada. But right here, you can create a new line of radiance as your action on any turn until the spell ends. So the way that this works is, as long as you're concentrating on the spell, you have essentially up to 10 uses of this 5-foot wide, 60-foot long line. So that's very similar. It is concentration. It's not something like I guess Long Strider or Mage Armor, where it's a permanent buff, but it doesn't require concentration. So you can do that. There is another spell that I looked at that might give us some more inspiration. Gust of Wind returns your opponent's active Pokemon to the bench, and they have to bring out a new one. A strong line of wind, 60 feet long and 10 feet wide, blasts. Oh, interesting. Basic rules. Basic rules. Random formatting thing. 5 foot wide, 60 foot long line, 60 feet long, 10 feet wide. That is something that I think that they should standardize. Anyway, 60 foot long line, 10 foot wide. A line of strong wind 60 feet long and 10 feet wide blasts from you in a direction you choose for the spell's duration. Each creature that starts its turn in the line must succeed on a strength saving throw or be pushed 15 feet away from you in a direction following the line. And then it gives pseudo-difficult terrain. It's not worded that way, so if there's difficult terrain, it stacks. Disperses vapors. Okay, cool. But it's this one right here. As a bonus action on each of your turns before this spell ends, you can change the direction in which the line blasts from you. So, how would this work? So, interestingly enough, okay, so it says in a direction you choose, it lasts for the spell's duration. So you can set it up. Ooh, that's interesting. Okay, so what if you move? So if you do this and then just like walk perpendicular to the line, does it move with you? It says it moves from you in a direction you choose for the spell's duration. Okay, and anyway, that's not the point of this. But here is something where it is kind of this pseudo. It is concentration, but it's pseudo concentration, I guess, where you don't have to actually focus on the spell itself. It doesn't say something like Witch Bolt, which I'll bring up, where you have to continuously activate it. But it just happens. It doesn't scale, and that makes me sad. Anyway, let's take a look at Witch Bolt. So Witch Bolt, by the way, if you ever consider picking up Witch Bolt, don't. It's just trust me. You do not like it is a bad spell. Don't do it. So it is a ranged spell attack. Target takes 1d12 lightning damage. And on each of your turns for the duration, you can use your action to deal 1d12 lightning damage to the target automatically. The consideration of this spell ends if you use your action to do anything else. That is something that we could use for Inferno, because this is a channeled ability. So should we set it up as like on your turn, here's this line that bursts out from you the way that Sunbeam does? Or should it be a constant line like Gust of Wind that if somebody moves into the stream, like it lasts in between in between turns? And should you have to use your action to concentrate on it? Or can you bump it to a bonus action to quote unquote maintain concentration on it? Kind of stealing some stuff from Gust of Wind. That is definitely a consideration. Also, I don't like the term spectral. There we go. Into a line of flames. More descriptive. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. Just copy and paste. Delete that. And then see if there's some changes that I can make. Okay, so this is what I have so far. At 6th level, you can channel your inner warmth into a line of flames. As an action, until your concentration ends, as if you were concentrating on a spell, each creature of your choice in a line 20 feet long and 5 feet wide emanating from you make a dexterity saving throw or take 1d6 plus 1 fire damage per sorceress level you have, or half as much on a success. A creature makes this saving throw if they start their turn in the area or move into the area for the first time on a turn. Do I like that? The wording is a little wonky. There is a question of, do you do it do they do it when you activate the ability? Do they do it when just at the start of their turn or moving into the? It's kind of like, when does the thing happen? Does it happen twice in a round? Once when you activate the ability and once at the start of their turns? Something like that. But that is a good start, I think. All right. Well, let's build out some more other things while I'm trying to figure out the rest. Okay. So let's do. Should there be a number of charges? Because Firebolt is a cantrip. It's deliberately a cantrip. Inferno, This is the other one. Shocking. Okay, so I don't have anything at 6th level for any of these. So there's nothing that I can really look at. Gone too far. Yeah, Frost Nova, Inferno, and Nova. So there's nothing. So I get to create this. Okay, so okay, actually that is something to think about. Is working through the number of charges you have too much? Am I relying too much on that energy shield 17th level ability? Okay, so I got slightly distracted, and I think I fixed at least one weird thing about this. As an action until your concentration ends, as if you're concentrating on a spell, you create a line of fire 20 feet long and 5 feet wide emanating from you. So I divorced the phrasing a little bit so that here's the creation, here's the stats of the creation, and then that gives me the freedom to make this sentence and tweak it however I wish. Each creature of your choice makes a dex... Okay, when you create the area and at the beginning of each creature's turns, if it is within the area, you may have it make a dexterity saving throw or take 1d6 plus 1 fire damage per sorcerer's level you have, or half as much on success. A creature also makes the saving throw if it moves within the area for the first time on a turn. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this down so that I don't have to worry about wording. We'll get to that later. What does this give us? That way you have something to do on your turn. It's not just kind of this create and wait. Actually, let me see. What does Windwall? Not Windwall. What does Gust of Wind say? Actually, no. Gust of Wind is a create and wait. Huh. Yeah, it says each creature that starts its turn in the line. You know, I'm going to take off that first part right here and just say at the beginning of each creature's turns. Okay, minor wording change, but oh, that is so much cleaner. When a creature starts its turn in the area, you may have it, so that is of your choice, make a dexterity saving throw or take 1d6 fire damage or half as much on a success. I think I like that. So, let's see if there's a few things that we can tweak. Let's just get rid of this section. Boop. Let's make that 30 feet long, 1d6. Your 6th level, let's make that 2d6. And then you can end the effect at any time, no action required by you. You can change the direction of the line as a bonus action. Can you move? Ooh, that is a question. Can you move? So, the way that these other ones work, Frost Nova and Nova, they're a one and done. Inferno is a channeled ability. Is this good? Is this worth a 6th level ability? No. The answer is no. It's bad. Inferno is bad. It's simply a bad ability. There is no way to make this ability good. Channeled abilities are very, very, very rarely good. See, the thing... Okay, actually, let's talk about Diablo 3 for a second. So, the wizard in Diablo 3, because there is no sorceress, the wizard has a handful of channeled abilities. And some of those are actually pretty good. Something like Ray of Frost, which, granted, it really needs 1 or 2 legendary items in order to make it good. But the reason why it's good is because the ability is basically instantaneous, right? Because if you have a projectile, then there's a chance you could miss. Okay. First off, this is video games, because Diablo, it's instantaneous. You make the attack and it automatically hits. So, but you're able to activate it, end the effect, reposition, and activate it again with no issue. So the question really comes down to, do I want this to be more Diablo or do I want this to be more D&D? And I think I want this to be more D&D. So I am going to remove your speed becoming 0. I don't think that's a good effect. There's no way to get, because in Diablo positioning, or not, sorry, I mean in Diablo as well, but in D&D positioning can be everything. You want to shove your opponent into the area of effect. You want to group them together so that they have the fireball dropped on them so that you get the most out of your fireball. So having your concentration, burning up your concentration, burning up potentially your action, burning up your bonus action to change, and making your speed 0, burning up this takes your entire turn. There's nothing you can do. So I'm going to delete this. And in fact, you know what? I am going to delete this second paragraph entirely. I'm just going to delete it because, actually, I'll leave that in just in case I need it. You see, I think I want to get away from the Witch Bolt idea because Witch Bolt is just bad. And the reason why it's bad is because it takes your action. I mean, also because the spell effect ends if they're, with outside of the range. Honestly, the only thing that needs to make it better, bump that 30 feet to 120 feet, but whatever. I think there was another spell that was kind of like that. But anyway, because, okay, granted you can move. That is a good thing. You can move. But keeping your action locked up in this spell means that it is absolutely awful. If you need to do anything else, well, that sucks. Sorry, you've lost the spell. And so I think I want to move it more to a combination of Gust of Wind and Sunbeam. See, Sunbeam is instantaneous. Sunbeam is create the area, and when you create the area, it has an immediate effect. Gust of Wind is create and wait. You make the area, but you have to, there is a possibility you create the line, and then the next turn, somebody from outside the line hits you, and you lose your concentration. And so you've done literally nothing. So having this create and wait makes it bad. I mean, the fact that it also does daily damage, it is niche. It is very, 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 very situational. So if that's the case, how do I word this section? How do I word that section? Okay, actually, you know what? Let's bump this down to here and edit that. As an action, you create a line of fire. Okay, let's see if that's actually a little bit better. As an action, you create a line of fire 30 feet long and 5 feet wide emanating from you. Each creature of your choice in the area makes a dexterity saving throw or take 2d6 fire damage or half as much on success. A creature also makes the saving throw if it moves into the area for the first time on a turn. Okay, so it changes the timing of the damage. It does change the timing of the damage from your action. Okay. Here we go. I mean, okay, does that even work? For 1 minute or until your concentration ends, as an action, you create a line of fire. Actually, okay, so you know what? I think that's not bad. The timing is a little awkward because you don't have your as an action thing at the very beginning. So the intent is you activate the ability as an action and. Am I being pulled in two directions? A creature also makes the saving throw for moves. Okay, so this is actually an interesting thing right here, because here I have a wording problem. This way, as an action, I create a line, an area. When does the area disappear? Because this second section here. A creature also makes the saving throw if it moves into the area for the first time on a turn. When does the area disappear? Because if it's just as an action, basically what I'm saying is you can't have sunbeam and gust of wind. So what I'm trying to do, I just realized, is I'm trying to mash gust of wind and sunbeam into the same timing, and you can't do that because sunbeam is instantaneous. That's what this section right here is. It is an instantaneous creation of an effect, and as it is created, each creature makes a saving throw and whatnot. Gust of wind, on the other hand, creates an area, and it is... Oh, actually, hang on a second. Can I do that? Let me see. Okay, so... So when you create the area at the start of each creature's turn, that would mean that you get double damage out of it. So spending an action to create the area, then at the start of their turns, and then when they move into it. Is there any other spell or ability that has something like this effect? Okay, let's look at the Paladin auras. Well, okay, so the Paladin wasn't all that good, and I'm taking far too long in this video. So what I'm going to do is I am going to nix that ability, throw in the proper wording there. Okay, let's see what I have so far. At the 6th level, you can channel your inner warmth into a line of flames. For 1 minute or until your concentration ends, as if you're concentrating on a spell. As an action, you can create a line of fire 30 feet long and 5 feet wide emanating from you. Each creature of your choice in the area makes a dexterity saving throw or takes 2d6 fire damage or half as much on a success. Each creature of your choice in the area makes a dexterity saving throw or takes 2d6 fire damage or half as much on a success. So this is Sunbeam. This is Sunbeam. You're not locked into not moving. Okay, this is more like Dragon's Breath, where it's just, here's an ability that you can just do. I mean, this is quite literally just Dragon's Breath. It's concentration 1 minute. Instead of a 15-foot cone, it is a line of fire 30 feet long, 5 feet wide. That's just Dragon's Breath. I am not happy with this. I'm really not happy with this. I am unsatisfied. But I have something down, and I think for now that's going to be enough. I may change things in the future. I may make things very, very different. But for right now, I'm going to leave that as it is here. I really don't like this. I'm not satisfied. But I'm just going to end it. I'm going to end it here. It's taken me an hour and 15 minutes. And I've got editing to do, and I hate editing. So, all right. Well, you can find me at... XenozFan2, that is XenozFan2, on Twitter and Reddit, and you can find the channel directly at Diablo to D&D, that is Diablo TODND, on Twitter and YouTube. And thank you much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good whatever.